Oh, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. A very warm welcome to Silver Tent TV. The Silver Tent is a global online community for women over 50. It's a place where you can come and you can be nurtured and supported to realise those dreams that have yet to be realised as we move into the autumn and winter of our lives. It's also a platform for the incredible wisdom that women over 50 have accumulated, and an opportunity to share with the world some of that wisdom. And with that in mind, I'm delighted to welcome the beautiful Risa Ferreira. A very warm welcome to you, Risa.
Thank you, Siobhan. Great to be here.
So Risa is a remarkable woman. She brings many things to the Silver Tent. Her incredible prowess as a storyteller and awakens many new understandings in those of us that get to sit and listen to her incredible stories. She's a woman that's worked in theatre for many years, in non-profit organisations, has a wealth of experience. But today we're here to talk about that quality of sound. And we've had many conversations in the tent about the power of sound. I'm often heard quoting Einstein saying that we're all frequency, and when you go down, break down the atom to what it ultimately is, and there's some scientists would say there's a nothingness there. Others will recognise that actually there's a frequency there. And so we're going to explore that a bit today. And in particular, Risa has set up a wonderful consultancy, a place where women can come and get support to find their own sound, their own song in the world. And we'll explore that a bit later on. But I wanted to begin, Risa, really for the uninitiated. Why is sound so important to us?
Well, they say that, especially in research with Alzheimer's patients and dementia, that sound is the first and the last memory. So I like to say that I came into the world with my own language and I live it, and it is a different language. And when I was a kid, I would walk around speaking and my mother would go, "What are you doing?" And she just brushed it off. She used to say, "Don't let anyone hear you doing that. They'll lock you up." And that the sound always gave me a place of me in the world. So in times in childhood that happened for everyone where there's a disconnect, sound was my way of staying connected because it was from before I had a body, and it comes through. So in that stream of life inside of us that comes from the before and the after into this present, it's always there to touch. It's like dipping your toe in a stream to reconnect or refresh. But we become disconnected, I think. So that's why sound is so important, to make that reconnection.
And many viewers will know that I accompanied my mum down that dementia journey, that dementia pathway for 7 years. And yeah, absolutely, my heart opened then when you said that, because I would go in to the care home and I would just have to say, "Raindrops keep falling on my head." And then that would have the whole room of often very catatonic people suddenly launch into song. And I only needed to know the first line of the song, thank goodness. And they, My Way, classic. So yeah, there's something about, I love that, that it's the first thing that we have and the last thing that goes. And I can really see the evidence of that. Someone described you as someone who helps people to reconnect to the earth and the natural world. How does sound do that for us?
So, in my world, everything is sounding. So, they've recently published everything about how trees communicate and how plants communicate. And I always go, duh. Listen, because you know when you're called over to that rose or that hedge or whatever it is, and you feel that need to touch it, that's a song. It's calling to you. It's calling for that connection. And I always find it so interesting because you see people kind of like edge over to the natural plant life and they don't know what to do. Like, oh, that's somebody's flower, I shouldn't touch it. Touch it. I mean, it's a connection, because the plant doesn't need the physical connection because they've already connected to your resonance. You, who are not yet connecting to their resonance, need the tangible to start that journey. And I think that when we give ourselves that connection, it opens us. So you feel your heart as if your shoulders go back and your heart, well, you get thrust here, but your heart opens, and then the world hears you, because that resonance that is a song within you, it just bursts forth because now you're acknowledging that connection that is resonance to resonance. And I think that's where we come from, that if I don't believe in a, what do they call it? Primordial ooze. I believe in a sea of resonance. That's where the world began.
Beautiful. And you've even made me, when I go out and walk my dog later, I am going out now with a slightly new awareness, understanding about how to connect with nature out there. I love that way of putting it. So we kind of moved into, and we brought a new word in there, resonance, didn't we? Mm-hmm. So if I want to understand my resonance, how would I go about doing that?
So because we know about toning and tone and music itself, I think we need to take a moment just to look at what that means as opposed or in relationship to resonance. So if you think of sound or tone as a candy with a hard shell and a soft center, the hard shell is what we talk about as the tone. You have the pitch, that perfect sounding. And it's flash. I'm sorry to offend anyone. That's flash. Inside that soft center, that's the resonance. It's the heart of the sound. So you know how sometimes you hear somebody sing and they don't have perfect pitch, they don't have the greatest voice, but it brings you to tears? That's the resonance. Because their resonance has completely hit the mark and it touched you where your resonance is. And so that communion creates that place where that love and compassion can flow. Your resonance, the acknowledgement of it, is to find those sounds. So you can do that with another person, so they're listening, and they can hear, if you just go through the long sounds of the vowels and tone them out like A. So I say A, I say A. Some people say A. So A isn't their vowel, E is. Because they go automatically to that other part of what A can be. And you can hear it. Like, I am amazed sometimes. Somebody's singing O and I hear you. And I go, okay, let's do you now. And what happens then is they have the core of their resonant signature. Then they're going to play with it. It's meant to be a discovery. I'm not meant to tell you, oh, you have to do this just like this because that's the way it works. No, this is life. This is vibrancy. So to me, the difference between sound and vibration and resonance is it's similar to when with a violin you pluck a string, then you take the bow and you play that same string with vibrato. That sound is more, and yet it's looser. It has more possibility. So resonance, to me, represents the possibility of that space and moment. And inside of us, our resonance signature holds the space of our possibility. We came in with it, and when our body is done, we will leave with it.
So if we looked at Resonance Lived, the consultancy, the space that you're creating for women to come and explore their resonance signature, and what that is, what that sounds like, and how that needs to flow in the world. What could I expect? You know, I phone you up, I make an appointment with you. Through the powers and wonders of Zoom, we get to connect globally wherever we are in the world. We've got to say where you are.
Oh, I'm in Newington, Connecticut, which is in the northeast portion of the United States.
And lo and behold, I'm in mid Wales, known as the heart chakra of Wales. And yet we're having this beautiful conversation together. So I've seen you, I've heard a bit, I've fallen in love with your voice. I know that is often what so many people say about you. And you clearly have a resonance that, you're right, it penetrates people's hearts. And I've seen that, I've witnessed that as people engage with you, gather with you, listen to you and your stories. So what can I expect when I get in touch with you?
Well, first, thank you, Siobhan. And so my whole purpose or mission, I guess, is to be of service. So I offer to work with someone to find their resonance signature so they can now acknowledge it and use that in their life, you know, and that is one aspect. I also do very nuts and bolts. So let's say you've injured yourself and it's your knee. And what we do is through Zoom, we can still do the energy check. And then what we're going to do is create the sound to balance the injury and to support the healing. And my goal in that is to help you create the sound, because we actually know what will heal us. But we've been so conditioned to disregard it that we don't even approach it anymore. And that's not a blame of anyone. It's just the way our world has worked to this point, especially in Western medicine. So think about when you get hurt. The first thing you do is you make a sound and your hands move. One hand, both hands. And that is your natural reaction to heal yourself. So what we do is work with that encouragement. What was that sound? Where did your hands move? Because we may think we hurt our knee, but what if we pulled a muscle further up and it's actually impacting the knee? So if we work on the knee, we're not actually working on the source of the pain. And that's the idea, is to work on the source of discomfort or illness. The other pieces that I work with too are healing our vital self. Anyone familiar with homeopathy is familiar with hearing about the vital self, which is your totality. It's not just body or mind, it's body, mind, spirit together. And sometimes we have holes in our vital self or thin spots. And so our own constitution can't respond the same. So we use sound to heal that and to heal so that when we are confronted by something that can pierce our vital self or cause damage, there's enough strength and support within us to be able to withstand it. And I just want to be very clear. I work with resonance and healing. I don't cure people. Okay, so when you come to me, you can expect love, compassion, support, all through the vehicle of resonance, and a commitment to help you or work with you or walk with you until it is as natural for you to pull sound to heal as it is to reach for an aspirin.
I love that. And I just did a sound healing course with Debbie Walker from the Silver Tent, and really got that sense of balance that it brings when you focus on that resonance.
Mm.
I'm thinking of a woman that perhaps is, going through the menopause, come through to the other side, really wondering, okay, what's the next stage of my life about? How could coming to you support her and help her?
Oh, that's a great question. So the transitional phases, we really are visionaries, women. We're not often supported to be visionaries as we become older and take in our elderhood. The truth of it is that it's the elders who have the vision of the future. It may be the youth who have the endurance to create it, but one must dream it first. So
Yes, Elsa's just agreeing with you.
so that's what we work with then. It's, if any of you are familiar with Dreamtime Stories, they talk about there are fantastical images, but when you read them, you realize that those images exist within you, and those stories are true. So when we're coming through menopause and we've been through an incredible initiation, yes, I know our bodies, I felt like mine betrayed me at one point. And yet at the end, I really thought, no matter what, I'm still here. This is still my body. And I can do these things, and I have more. And what really helped me in that final phase, as it seemed that certain things would remain beyond my reach, was to be able to reconnect through resonant signature to that place that was here from before I was born. And that made that transition a continuum. So it wasn't something taken out of the timeline, but was a passageway. And I'm not saying, my transition into menses and out of menses was incredibly hard. And if I had been adept with a gun, I probably would have killed myself at one side or the other. So I'm not saying it's easy or that there's no challenges. What I have learned, though, is that space inside of me that had sound, I would drum until I had blisters. My flute went with me everywhere. I got stopped at airports because when they put it through, they didn't know what it was, so I'd have to take it out. They'd have to poke through it, pry it. But that saved me, okay? And what I say to you is that you have an incredible resonance. It's there sounding within you, waiting for you to acknowledge it so that it can partner with you as you face things and move forward. Don't know what you want to do? Let's delve into your resonance and see what it holds for you.
What a beautiful place to end. I'm conscious of the time, and I could feel myself starting to go to your voice and getting lost in there's a beautiful flow to it. Your resonance comes through so loudly and clearly. And I really encourage anyone that is looking for direction, for understanding, for awareness and appreciation of who they are in the world, to get in touch with you. We'll put your contact details in the information around the video. But for now, I just really wanted to thank you, Risa. It's been amazing talking to you. You have such a unique understanding of the world that oozes wisdom.
Thank you, Siobhan, and I'm very grateful for the opportunity. And I just want to say that if you listen to my voice and it doesn't work for you, I'm not the only one who does resonance and sound. So don't give it up because we don't match. Try it with anyone that it feels right with.
And definitely, as we end the interview, I go out with a whole new understanding of resonance and really listening to that resonance between me, the people I connect with, and the world that surrounds me. Great. Wherever you are in the world, may the sun shine in your heart, even if it's not in your skies. Farewell.